Hello everyone, this is Professor Nelson from Electronics. And today, we're going to see what you can do with a DVD player like this one. If you have an old DVD player like this that you're about to throw away, I suggest you don't. Because in this case, we're going to reuse the electronic components or circuit boards inside this DVD player. And as we can see, we have several RCA connectors. There's also an HDMI connector. And this DVD player probably has many other things inside. Therefore, I invite you to stay until the end of the video, so you can see all the benefits you can obtain by recycling the components or electronic boards that this equipment has. Well, without further ado, let's watch the video. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do is remove the cover of our DVD player. To do this, we remove the screws located on the sides. Now, we carefully remove the cover. And we can see that we have two boards. The main board, which processes the audio and video. And another board, or power supply. We also have the DVD disc reading mechanism, the screen, and the USB connector. Now let's look at these components in detail. Very well, here we have the two electronic boards that this equipment features. The main board and the power supply. And for this video, we're going to look at the power supply in detail. In other words, everything you can do with this power supply. And the first thing we can see is that this power supply has two voltage outputs. One is 5 volts, and the other is 12 volts, which power the main board. Now, the first thing we can do without modifying anything is use this power supply as a cell phone charger. That is, if your charger is damaged, or if you don't have a charger, you can use the USB port to charge your phone. For example, let's do a test. Let's connect our device. The DVD player is turned on. Now let's connect the cell phone. And we can see that it's charging without problems. However, if you can't use this USB connector for some reason, you can solder your own USB connector to the 5-volt output pins. Since the main board doesn't interact with or control the power supply's voltage output. That is, it works independently, providing us with two voltages. Therefore, let's focus on this board. Let's remove it and work with it. But first, a big hello to all my subscribers, to those who comment and share the videos, and especially to the channel members. A big hello to all the channel members. Guys, thank you so much for your support. Seriously, thank you so much. And if you're not yet a channel member, you can become one in the members section. Without further ado, let's continue with the video. Now we can look at the power supply board in more detail. There we can see the 5-volt output, GND, and the 12-volt output. The other output voltages are not enabled. However, it can be observed that the transformer's output diodes are quite different. We have the 5-volt diode, which is rated for much higher amperage than the 12-volt diode. Therefore, this power supply delivers much more current at 5 volts. It's approximately 2 to 3 amps. That is, we have a 2 or 3 amp power supply at 5 volts. And the 12-volt one is apparently only 1 amp. Let's connect the power supply and test it with the multimeter to confirm the output voltages. We set the multimeter to DC voltage. And we check the output voltages. GND would be in the middle. And here would be the 12-volt output. And we have 10.5 volts. Let's look at the 5-volt output. And yes, we have 5 volts. Very good. So this power supply delivers 2 voltages, 10.5 and 5 volts. Now let's see what you can do with these 2 voltages. The first thing you can do is use it as a voltage adapter for a fan. That is, instead of buying a 12-volt adapter like this one, you can use this power supply directly. Although the fan requires 12 volts to operate, it draws a fairly small current of only 140 milliamps. Therefore, the power supply could easily power this fan. Let's connect it and see if it works. We can see that it works and without any problems. Very well. What else can we do? You could also power a 12-volt LED strip. Let's see if it works. And as you can see, it powers on without any problem. Okay, now let's see what else we can do. Now we're going to use the 5 volts from the power supply to charge a 4.2-volt lithium battery. For this, we'll need a general-purpose diode rated for 1, 2, or 3 amps. In this case, I'm using a 1N4007 rated for 1 amp. You will also need a protection resistor, either 2 or 3 or 10 ohms, 1 watt. In order to limit the charging current to our battery, and thus prevent any overheating. You'll also need a battery holder and a small breadboard. Okay, let's assemble the circuit. First, we'll connect the diode. The cathode of the diode will have to go to the positive terminal of the battery holder. Next, we'll add the resistor. Now, we connect the 5 volt power supply. the negative terminal to negative, and the positive terminal to 5 volts. However, before connecting the battery, let's verify the voltage being supplied by the power supply. And we have 5 volts. Now let's connect the battery and see what its voltage is. The battery is somewhat discharged. Now let's see if the battery voltage increases. We connect the 5 volts and can see that the battery voltage has just increased. Therefore, the battery will charge slowly because we've added a resistor, which limits the charging rate. However, this means our battery will charge in 1 or 2 hours. So, we need to be patient. But remember that this way we can temporarily charge any battery until we have a proper charging circuit. Now, a little theory. Remember that we have 5 volts at the power supply, and we can't apply those 5 volts directly to the battery. That's why we're using a general purpose diode, since these usually need 0.7 volts to operate. In other words, we'll have 0.7 volts across the diode, and at most 4.3 volts would be applied to the battery. However, we're also using a resistor, which will also have a voltage drop across its terminals. Therefore, at most 4 volts of voltage will be applied to the battery. Therefore, this method is quite safe for charging a battery. However, it is somewhat slow compared to using a charging module. But the important thing is that it's a temporary alternative. And as you can see, it's charging slowly. Now let's disconnect the circuit. As you can see, we can obtain some pretty interesting circuit boards from some equipment that we are about to discard. So think twice before discarding your electronic equipment. You might find boards like these that work perfectly, which can provide various output voltages that you can use in different projects. Now, don't forget that we've also seen you can use it as a charger. Remember that in this case, we have a 5-volt power supply of at least 2 amps. In other words, it would be a 10-watt charger that would allow you to charge your phone without any problems. Well, guys, that concludes the video. Now, don't forget that if you liked the video, a like really helps the channel. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.